Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. Today for Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. We're still quarantining. It's been a while. We are inviting Jim McFarland from McFarland Shoe Repair down in Lakeland, Florida. On Instagram, handle name is America's Cobbler. He is manning the third generation shoe repair shop. Which is amazing. Their family has been servicing for so long. Let me see if he is on. Yes, he is on. So I'm going to invite him. And I think today, so actually it might be his day off, but he is at the shop for us. Hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for being online with me. Oh, I guess I'm now short. I'm going to lift this up a bit. So thank you so much for taking your time today.
Thanks for the invite.
How have you been during this quarantine? It's been long over here, but have you been able to work inside your shop for this whole time since March?
Yeah, we were actually only quarantine shut down for the month of April.
Mm-hmm.
But I still came in every day to do mail-in because we mail-in work. It's definitely different as far as customers walking through the door, where it may be 50%.
Wow.
Shops all over the country, it's ranging depending on where they're at. New York, unfortunately, is probably going to be the toughest one. As far as coming back, they will, but maybe the last to come back.
Yeah.
And then, the larger the city, the more the people, the slower it's going to take. That's for sure.
Right.
The shops that are out in the suburbs, like me, I think we have a little more of a fighting chance at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And your staff, how many staff do you have?
Right now, 3. One left, went back home. And then, to be honest, 3 is plenty at the moment.
Yeah. Got it. Going back a little bit, who doesn't know, you are Jim. your shop. Can you talk a little bit about your shop? How you took over the family business? How long you've been doing this for? How you started? Who your mentors are? All that, and then maybe a tour of your space. Sure.
Well, my grandfather started in 1918, and his dad died just a couple of months before he was born.
Wow.
So he had 6 siblings. So he was the baby, and they were all getting out trying to work and learn. And by the time he was about 15, he went to a shoe repair shop in Anderson, Indiana called Smith's Shoe Repair.
Smith's.
Yeah, it was established in 1888. I actually have one of their business cards. I was able to go in there and visit around 1990.
Wow.
But they're gone now. They've been gone for a long time. The only original thing they had left was a little work stool that had been at the very beginning, and I would love to have gotten that stool because I'm sure everybody that ever worked there had probably sat in that stool at one time.
Yeah.
Anyway, then my dad, unfortunately, his mom died when he was about 12, so he was raised with his dad. I grew up in it. I think by the time I was about 15, I was doing everything. Not that I was forced to do it. It's just every day after school, I was at the shop watching and found it interesting. And I never really put my hands on any tools until I was about 15, but from watching much, I picked it up pretty quick. So here I am. My dad, he passed away in 87. I took it over in 86, and we've been in this location. This location is 40 years next year.
Wow. Yeah. And has it changed a lot? Like, what did you learn first? Like you were saying, you watched everything. What did you get to do initially when you really started to work with the tools? What was your first kind of task?
Sorry, Had some dust on my lens. It's funny you asked that. Well, when I was a kid, my dad used to give me shoes to clean and polish. I used he did it for fun. Kids like colors, so he'd give me dye or paint or whatever. I didn't realize he was doing it because he didn't want to do it. But it was keeping me busy and out of the way. But, it's funny. I came in one day after school and picked up a pair of men's shoes and put new soles and heels on them, put them on the machine and stitched them the first time all the way around.
Wow.
And did them from start to finish, no problem. But it's because I had watched for so many years that I knew how it was supposed to be done.
Wow.
You watch them do the shoe, you're watching their hand techniques, which tools they're using. So it was easy. It was like studying for a test and you knew the answers.
Wow.
So it's very important when somebody's learning the trade, they think they got to get right in on hands on, and just start. And, shoes get messed up easy that way.
Yeah.
I think a huge part of learning this business is spending a lot of time watching. More you watch over and over and over, you just, it's kind of like when you're riding in the car and you hear a song over and over, pretty soon you know it by heart.
Yeah.
Until then, you really can't sing with it too well, right?
Right. Yeah.
Not anybody wants to hear me sing, so I keep the windows open.
Yeah, just keep it closed. But yeah, no, so you just watched and you learned, and so even if the machines were in really good shape maybe as well and well maintained, but were you able to kind of tinker with the machines as well?
Actually, another great question. When I was small, 10, 11 or so, my dad would go up and do maintenance on the machines every couple of weeks. He'd always take me with him because he figured I'd probably be in this business. So I didn't want to go and do that, but I did. I liked being with my dad, but I learned I can do just about all the maintenance on a machine if it breaks down.
Yeah.
Just about everything. There's only a few things on a couple of the stitchers. If I had to get really deep into detail, I'd have to call and get a little bit of help over the phone. But for the most part, I've known pretty much all the upkeep and maintenance on most of all the machines.
Wow.
So
is that also from just being with your father, just learning next to him?
A lot of it. And then Blaze from Shoe Systems Plus and Larry that works with him has been a big help when I've needed some advice and get a little lost in the machine there with something crazy going on. They've talked me through it. So we've got a really nice tight knit industry, a lot of friends and a lot of good talented people. So it makes it a lot easier, especially with social media. Yeah. Because you can hold the phone and show them the problem, on a Skype call or something and see what you're actually talking about. It's amazing.
So that's great that you have a network like that. So, and then a little bit about your background. So you just jumped in at 15 and you never looked back. Is that how it goes?
Well, I went off to college for about 2 years. And my dad, he became ill. So I dropped my classes after 2 years back to help him, but passed away a year later. So I didn't want to be in this business because my grandfather, my dad, it was a hard way to make a living. They had a lot of things going on, but it came easy to me as far as, when I learned the trade. So when I came back and I was running the shop, it was a good business and it was on its feet. And I was like, man, it was a shame to just close it.
Yeah.
And it all worked out. It all worked out. Now, what I went to school, what I wanted to do at this point in my life, I'm glad I didn't do it. And because that part of the industry is really not great anymore. Glad I'm back here. I later went to become a cped. And
CPED, just for people who don't know, it's a certified pit orthopedist, right?
Yes. Yep. I had went and accomplished that, passed the test, hardest test I ever took in my life. First test I ever studied for. I I would come home from work and I would study from 6 p.m. till midnight every night.
Wow.
Because after we finished the class,
Yeah.
the next bar exam was 6 weeks away.
Right.
And they only give it twice a year. So if I didn't do it, I'd have to wait another 6 months.
Right.
And I wanted to get it done while it was all fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Because the passing rate was 35%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky test.
Really?
So I studied my fanny off, went back, we passed it on the first go around, and
congrats.
Incorporating that into the business has really been huge. It's a big part of our business.
Oh, that's so great. I saw on, I think, social media that you learned shoemaking, bespoke shoemaking with Marcel.
Yeah, I did. He's been trying to get me down there up there for a long, long time. And then when I heard he was moving, it was like now or never.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the shoes actually over in my case. I tell you what, I know you've done this.
Yeah.
And I will say it's easier to make a living repairing them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It took me 3 days to make those shoes. And it looked like I had severe arthritis when I was done.
Did you do hand welted shoes? I think?
No. We just did a like a leather, just a typical.
Is it a derby or Oxford? I
derby
forget.
shoe, just a derby shoe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, didn't do it well. Didn't really have enough time. That'll be the next one we do. He wants me to go to Pennsylvania and do one, so eventually we'll do another one. It came out good.
Yeah.
But it was a long 3 days, so I imagine the next one will probably be 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, or even maybe longer. You never know.
Those shoemakers, they earn their money. I mean, it's underpaid. I mean, the shoe I made is like a $500 or $600 shoe. And for me it took me 3 days. I'm sure Marcel could have done it in a day and a half or less.
Yeah.
So repetitions is definitely going to be on your side after a while. But for me, no, I couldn't make a living doing it. Take 10 years.
But yeah, no, it is difficult. But do you feel like you want to incorporate a little bit of ground up kind of shoemaking into your work at all? Or was that just pure like enjoyment?
Yes, it was for the enjoyment. It was, how many people come in my store over the years that have asked if you've ever made a pair of shoes? And I always figured, I know most of the construction and most good shoe cobblers out there do. And I figured, I'd have a lot of the sewing skills down and a lot of the hand skills down. What I didn't have down was the fatigue that your arms and fingers take. So hats off to all you bespoke shoemakers out there, because that's a tough job. It's a lot different than being a shoe cobbler, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, for your trade, calling yourself a shoe cobbler, what's the tool that you can't live without? Or equipment?
My lip knife. I wish I had it. It's on my desk in the back. I'll grab it in a little bit. Yeah. That's my main tool. A lot of old traditional cobblers, it's like if you watch Star Wars, that's like your light. Yeah, you reach in your pocket, grab your lip knife. It's a special knife where you can cut around the heels or the soles and trim them. Not a lot of guys use it. It's an ancient tool. I actually have one in my display case that is over 150 years old.
Wow.
And it's really neat. Maybe we can see that later too. But it's my favorite tool. It's probably the one I use the most.
And that's a hand tool. Is there equipment that you really like in your shop that you're like, I'm glad I have this?
Well, of course, the grinders and the stitchers. That's definitely makes life easy. When my dad had the shops, we had those old Landis line finishers. I don't know if you're familiar with some of those, but they just had the little wheels on. You have to change. Yeah, we worked on those forever. And then I think around 1990, I bought my first belt sander. Everything's upgraded in here now. We've got all new equipment we've accumulated over the last 10, 15 years. So everything's updated, pretty much to the point where I don't know if we could really upgrade it anymore. But it definitely, when I first put the belt sanders in, it probably took about 4 hours off my day compared to the old Landis line. So that right there was a big plus.
Right, right. That's cool. Do you think you can give us a little tour of the shop?
I can.
And while you talk.
Yeah. I'll need to like flip this guy around. Can you see?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, we'll start around back and then we'll work our way back up to the front.
Thank you.
I'll start off here. This is a cleanse machine we have.
Cleanse machine.
What
do you cleanse?
Nanoparticles and ozone, any shoes we get in. Through the mail, go in here for about 10 minutes.
Wow.
It will take care of coronavirus.
Yes. Is this a new purchase, or was this, did you always have this?
I had a smaller one, but I picked up a bigger one just before everything went down, which I got lucky.
Yeah.
It was the last one Shoe Systems Plus had, so I got really lucky with that.
Wow.
This area over here is where we do most of our rips. We do, repairing of purses and straps and miscellaneous items people come in with that just need oddball
hardware and hand tools there.
Yeah, and then we move on here to the shoe stretchers. We do a lot of shoe stretching, boots, shoes, and different tools for the bunions. And we keep some of our material back here, and a little messier in this part of the shop. But this is my workbench over here.
Nice.
I like to keep all my tools. I mean, my dad built these benches back in '81, so they're kind of old. A lot of glue on them. I try to keep them clean.
Yeah.
I keep my tools in order because I don't want to look for tools.
Yes, definitely not. Yeah, that's
kept in
so
order.
Organized. Yep.
And then we keep, like all of our leather and
very
things.
organized.
It's it's a very clean shop. Some of my employees get aggravated with me because I sweep a few times a day. But after we tear down stuff, I don't want to walk in it and carry it out front to wait on customers because then I'm sweeping the front area all day long.
Yeah.
My mother kind of taught me that. So
to keep things clean.
She stayed on me about keeping things clean. So, we've got our presses. These are our stitchers. Now, we keep our stitchers covered.
That's so smart for the dust.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, you get a finisher, like one of these finishers close so you get dust flying around.
Yeah.
So we make sure these are off whenever we're doing any stitching. So that way we keep those running better longer.
Yes.
So we maintain those about once a week. We give them a blowing off and some oil and whatever we need.
Right. Line finishers. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's S2000. I bought this in 2002. It's actually almost 20 years old already. I can't believe it.
Wow.
I've got some big pictures. My dad was on the cover of the National Master Shoe Rebuilder. It's just I had a copy blown up. That's on the wall.
Cool. Very cool.
And picture of my grandfather there.
Wow. Wow.
That was 1920.
Wow. Wow. So
and then for the shining, I actually have a brush. I have lots of brushes here. I have one for like every color.
Yeah.
Starting from neutral to tan to navy and, black, brown, and so on.
You just keep it on the bar so that you don't have to change it all the time.
Yeah, and I keep it on there. Otherwise, if you get somebody here working, they put it on the wrong one. I want to know what they're doing.
Right.
We keep a fume buster on right here.
Yep.
We don't want to breathe aerosols, so.
Yep. Is it
Oh.
for dyeing and spraying?
Yeah, dyeing. Yeah, any kind of aerosol, waterproofing, anything like that is going in there. Actually looking for my lip knife.
Yeah.
So here's my lip knife.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, it got a little thin over there. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little lip in there. Kind of guide you to keep you from. That's the tool.
How long have you had that one for, you think?
They usually last me, I don't know, 6 to 8 years, something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
It's my ladies section where we put on new heels. We carry lots of different. We carry Super Tap and Casali.
Yeah.
One and different ones, Casali and Flex pens.
Yeah.
And then we carry different sole protectors, mirror soles.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Everything.
So
Yeah. And the red.
Yeah.
For the Louboutins.
Especially the red.
Yeah.
Do tons of them.
Yeah.
Got a pair here we're just did.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I've never seen that one that's like super shiny and smooth and
yeah, it's nice. I like it better.
Yeah.
Better than some of the ones with tread on them are not so shiny and the colors don't always match.
Exactly. And they look a little too bulky and
I have lots of red soles. Oh my gosh.
Wow, I bet.
From different companies that I don't use. Someday I don't know, maybe I'll sell them on eBay or something. These are boxes we keep the customer's shoes in.
Oh, okay. Wow.
They have, like, you'll see the box will have a number, and the customer has a barcode, and
wow, you have the system. It's a very modern system incorporated, not handwritten tickets.
Right. So what we do is we come over to our computer, and the customer comes in, we just type in their phone number or scan their ticket, and it'll show us what box the shoes are in. So even if they lose their ticket, we can find it real quick.
Right.
One thing about the shop being clean, everything being organized.
Yeah.
I learned this from my dad's shop because it was not organized. We had to look for a lot of tools. Shoes were just stuck on the shelves. We'd spend hours looking for the shoes, and one day I just figured we were wasting 3 to 4 hours a day
just looking for things.
Yeah, 3 to 4 hours a day just looking for things. So I was like, okay, I travel around, I get the opportunity to visit a lot of shops, so I started taking ideas.
Yeah.
And most of the things in my shop are not my idea. Most of the things in my shop you see are things I've picked from other shops. So I have to give them the credit. The only credit I can take is I actually started making things better. Yeah, so I'll show the front of the store. We actually remodeled during the shutdown. We repainted gray and we put a new floor down.
Oh, nice.
So we carry a lot of polish.
Yeah, wow, nice. Those shoe creams, is that Sapphire? Wow, you have it all.
Yeah, we
have
Sapphire, Tarago. Then we carry lots of paste wax and a lot of different inserts.
Nice.
We've got some articles we've had over the years. I think the one that was the most fun was the Wall Street Journal. We made the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
That's cool. Yeah.
That was 2009, but if you can see my picture, I look like a drug cartel. Yeah.
The Florida.
I look more like a convict. The funniest thing is my wife one day said, when are you going to start talking to all the newspapers and start doing some work? And I was being very sarcastic, and I said, when Oprah calls. And I was just, being an idiot. So that next day I went home and I had a recording on my phone, and I went home and I kind of walked in like I was, the man. And my wife's looking at me like, what are you doing? And I pushed my phone for voicemail, and I let her hear. It was a lady that says, "Hi, this is so-and-so from the Oprah Winfrey organization. We wanted to do an article on you."
Wow, that's so great. Oh,
that was but it was so funny because I never thought about being on anything to do with Oprah. I just said it sarcastically, and good grief, they called like the next day.
You put it out in the world, and somebody heard it.
I guess so.
Definitely.
So down here, this was my dad's lip knife. That was the last one he had in his pocket. But here's a lip knife I was telling you about.
Wow, 150-year-old. Whoa.
Yeah, you were the guy.
Look at that handle.
I know it. It's really an amazing piece. And then, like those old heel poppers, this one's over 125 years old.
Wow.
We still use those today. They're just not wood handles anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's
now, my dad kept this in my playpen in back of the shop. I cut my teeth on this. Can you see my teeth marks?
Yes. That was your teething toy.
That was it, man. I was telling him what kind of chemicals I put in my body.
Oh, that's funny.
That was my grandfather's hammer and my dad's hammer.
Yeah.
So I've saved
Yeah, very nice. And the medals. Oh, that's the shoe that you made with Marcel?
Yeah, let me grab one. Yeah, this is the one I did with Marcel.
Wow. Oh, the stitches are, oh, so that was like a decorative welt?
It wasn't welted. He had me stitch a midsole to it, and then we directly glued the sole to the midsole. Okay. It was a kind of an easier one to do for sure, but we didn't have a lot of time, so.
Right. What are the medals for?
We won a gold and 2 silver in European competition.
Wow, there's a European competition for, is it for shoe repair?
There's the Netherlands, the United States, that big one's the United States.
Yeah, wow.
And then Germany has them as well.
Very cool.
This is the one I recently did.
Wow.
That we put brass in.
Wow.
That's actually a half sole.
Oh.
I'm trying to get it in light so you can see that long.
Yeah. Wow.
So
it's beautiful.
That one I think I'm going to enter in the next competition. Yes. I did one similar to it years ago, but after learning a lot more, I've decided to add a little extra and see what happens.
Yeah. So for competitions, what do you use your own shoes? I guess you can't use clients' shoes.
Buy them off eBay.
Right. Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah. Park Weber Studio says, "Can he show the metal tap, please? Can you please show the metal tap?
Oh,
toe cap or toe?
Yeah.
What do you call it? Toe tap?
Well, that's called a Triumph toe plate.
Toe plate. Triumph toe plate. Okay.
Yeah, it's brass.
Yeah.
And it's inserted into the leather.
Okay, so you cut it and fit it.
So I don't know if that's focusing, but it's flush to the leather. Yes. Yeah. You have to cut out about 1.5 millimeters. Leather, and then put that in there. And then we put some brass tacking.
Yeah. Oh,
just
beautiful.
Decoration on there, and then did you patina the sole color? Like it looks almost like a green, dark green. Yeah, it's called Vert Green, V-E-R-T. It was a sapphire dye I used along with their polish. So anyway,
very cool. Do you prefer repairing women's shoes or men's shoes?
Depends on the ladies' shoes. If they're really nice ladies' shoes, really nice high end, I really enjoy working on that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Same with men's. I don't know. I guess I really love doing the Louboutins. That's my favorite shoe. I've never had a shoe fetish, but I love those ladies' Louboutin shoes.
Oh, that's so great.
If I had enough money, I think I would collect them, certain ones, and just find a room and just play them in.
They are like pieces of art, isn't it? Yeah.
They are. They're amazing. It's my favorite shoe. I love them when they come in. I just,
like in
sometimes one that you posted for this upcoming event here was a limited edition the lady bought, and they didn't make too many. They also made a purse to match. That was like $2,500 or something. It was an expensive item, but they're just gorgeous.
Yeah, It's like art. What is your most proud repair job that you've ever done that's memorable to you? Would it be the contest piece, or would it be for a client?
Probably when I won the Grand Silver Cup was probably, when I look back at that shoe story, I used to have it displayed in the case, and my cousin came to visit, and he saw that shoe and he liked that style, and I was in the back getting something. And when I came out, he had taken it out of the case and put it on and was walking around in the store with it, saying, "Oh, well, this fits great." And I'm like, "Well, you can keep it now," because he'd scratched the bottom all up. So
all my work.
It was a funny story. But, my work was pretty good, I guess, at the time. But, there's so many talented cobblers out there right now that have stepped the bar up. I mean, there's 5 or 6 I could name off that are just, very talented. very talented, and they raise the bar, and you learn stuff from all of them. There's not one guy that knows it all. I mean,
Right.
everything I've learned in here, I've learned from other cobblers that just do amazing things.
Right.
And that's what we have to do to get better, is watch other people. Because if you think you're going to get better just because you think you know it all, unfortunately, you're not going to go too far.
Right. But when was this Silver Cup, Grand Silver Cup? Which year was it?
Well, they do it every other year now.
Okay.
I've been a judge since 2002.
Okay.
I'm the senior judge now. You asked earlier about a mentor, Robert D Renaldo.
Oh, okay. Robert D. I'm writing it down. Sorry.
Yeah,
Robert
actually,
D. Renaldo.
Robert D Renaldo. Actually, just to show you how much I think about him.
Yes.
I keep. Let me turn this around. I keep his picture of his magazine in my desk.
Oh, wow.
So that's all of his trophies there. He won just about everything there was to win.
Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man.
Uh-huh.
I miss him dearly. He was my mentor in this industry.
Uh-huh.
He was a silver cup judge with me.
Uh-huh.
I learned all that from him.
Uh-huh.
And once he passed, I took his I shouldn't say I took his spot. No one can take his spot, but I became the person he wanted me to be as far as judging the shoes go.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So when you're judging, are you allowed to compete as well, or no?
No. I can in other contests, like Germany or the Netherlands or something, but
not this one.
No, and it's the biggest honor I've ever had in the industry. I mean, winning the Silver Cup was great, but being a judge is just an honor. I mean, it's just something I really hold dear in this industry, and I love the industry. I love what I do. I love our association. We have so many wonderful people in it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes some of us butt heads. Even some of the ones I butt heads with the most, I still care about them.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, you have to respect them, because, there's just some amazing guys out there that just beautiful work. And sometimes, people that are eccentric, like one guy I know out in Texas, he's amazing. We're very good friends. I don't know too many people get along with him. He's so funny. If you ever read his reviews, some of the customers, he runs out of there. It's hilarious. It's like watching a Seinfeld episode or something. But his talent is beyond anybody I've ever seen. I mean, this guy can match a color. People bring him, $8,000 to $10,000 those was it Armani bags or whatever they're called. Yeah, I can't even pronounce it. It's so too expensive to pronounce. Right. But he'll re-dye those, no problem. Don't even sweat about it. He's not even nervous. And color perfect. He's really good. But anyway,
very
a lot of time.
Very cool. Do you have ever had a client that you said no to?
Yeah, as far as a job they bring in, or a customer I say no to because I don't like to take in their work.
I guess both. I don't know.
Yeah, I fire one every once in a while in a really, really nice way.
Oh, yeah.
I always try to be very, very polite. The last one I had was about 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. She always complained about the job, how long it was going to take, and the price. And it was always a very expensive pair of shoes. They always came out good, but we could just never, So anyway, I just said, there's 2 other shops in town. Maybe try them and see if they can do a little bit better, because you might get a little better price. You might get them a little quicker, which I knew wasn't going to be the case. No. But in about 6 months, she was back, which I figured she probably would be. Yeah. And I'm glad she did. I just wanted her to see that we weren't that bad. Right. Because, sometimes you just need to see that it wasn't so bad after all. Right. We're back on good terms, but that don't happen often. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness most of my customers are absolutely wonderful.
Oh, that's great. But if it's a job, has there been ever a job where it's not repairable? Then do you just turn them down, or?
Yeah. Yep. Every day. depending on what it is, you get a lot of these synthetic materials in that are, like polyurethane, where they just dry rot, crumble apart.
Right.
So you turn that down all the time. We get people in that bring in a lot of projects, I call, they come in, they want you to remake a dog leash. I just don't have time for projects. Yeah. If we were busy enough where we could have a lot of different employees and I get to hire somebody just to concentrate on projects, and maybe one day we'll be in that situation, I don't know, but right now we just want to focus on what we're good at. Yeah. And I tell people that if they come in with something I'm not good at, I tell them, I'm not good at, making boat straps. Right. Because I don't know if what I'm going to make is going to hold your boat when you're pulling down the road.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
So, I want to stick to what I'm good at.
Okay.
That's yeah.
What's the most difficult repair job that you remember?
Dog chews are always the most difficult.
Dog chews? Okay.
Yeah, that's always the hardest. I mean, sometimes they chew them up so bad, you just can't, there's just not much left to work with. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll get a man shoe in that it's been rebuilt a lot. It's old, start to crack, and, it's just, it's to the point you can't even stitch weld on it anymore. Wow. It doesn't happen often, but you get them like that. Yeah. But most of the stuff we get are pretty good. What's great right now is we used to, I'm 55 now. I was the last of the baby boomers. We used to rely on the baby boomers in this business because they were raised and they bought good shoes. Yes. Well, the people that I went to school with that were a little bit younger than me, they back in the 90s started buying rubber soles and cheap shoes. Yeah. And we were scared to death as cobblers, a lot of us, because we could see the tide turning. Yeah. The quality of shoes were starting to go away. Yeah. Now all of a sudden we're having all these plastic shoes coming in that are, just garbage. You buy them for $60, you throw them away. Right. Now with social media and with the a lot of the millennials and a lot of the Generation X, and a lot of them are into recycling. Yeah. They're getting into buying quality products. Yeah. Wonderful. They're out there. If they can't afford a new $600 pair of shoes, they're going on eBay, which is very smart. Yeah. They're picking them up for less than $100. They're bringing them into shoe repair shop. They're getting them rebuilt. And they have a practically close to new shoe that's even probably better than it was in a lot of cases because it's better material. Yeah. That's probably still lasts them 20 years, and they spent half the price at the end of the store. Yeah. A lot of them are doing that, and they need to, when you think about it, the shoe cobblers, shoe repair industry is one of the oldest in the world. So when it comes to, and I like to look at us as probably the oldest recycling company in the world. Yeah. Because I imagine the human race has been repairing shoes and they've been wearing clothes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, you're right. So that's a great not trend, I guess, but like a wave in a way. Yeah. To see. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. They're just educating themselves. I mean, you go on YouTube and all these different social media platforms now, and everybody's being educated. You've got Trenton and Heath, you've got Wyatt and Dad, and you have Betos, you have Kirby Allison, the Hanger Project. Yeah. You have a lot of guys out there that love shoes. Entertaining. Well, they're entertaining all these consumers. Yeah. And then you've got Sonny Yu and Dan Frack. I mean, these are all award winners, and they're doing these videos that people just love to watch. Yeah. And they really get into it. And to be honest, I mean, here I am, 55, been doing this all my life pretty much, and I'll get on here and I'll watch these guys on their videos, and I'm just amazed. I'm sitting there watching like I've never done this before. Right. And, that's cool. And that's Trent and Heath guys, I enjoy. I mean, when I watch those guys, I'm just like, I'm so zoomed in, and I'm sitting here, and my wife will say something like, you've won an award, or somebody will say, you're an award winner or whatever, and I'm like, I don't feel like one. Look at these guys.
Well, that's fantastic, though. That, like, it's great that it's almost like, yeah, you're learning from your colleagues, who, whatever age they are, like they're in the industry, or yeah, which is
Yeah.
and the younger generation, it seems like, right? You were saying that they're younger.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Thank God for those guys coming up, because they're really helping our shoe repair industry out. You know, during the Great Depression, we had about 120,000 shops. And I'm the historian for the shoe services.
Okay, I would love to hear it. Yeah.
I have magazines dating back to the 20s. So, but we had about 120,000 shops during the Great Depression, 1920 to 1930. And around 1945 to 1950, it dwindled down to about 63,000 shops left in the. Now, during the Great Depression, we had about 110 million people in this country.
Yeah.
So around the 1990s, we had about 15,000 shoe repair shops left in the. Then when I was interviewed by the Chicago Tribune in 2009, asked how many we had, and we had 7,500. Well, they called me about a month ago, and they said, or just before the COVID hit, they said, how many shops are left in your industry? And I said, about 5,000. And they laughed, and I said, why are you laughing? And he says, because when we asked you in 2008 or 2009, how many thought there'd be in 2020, you said 5,000. And I was like, geez,
you're spot on, but it's crazy that it's declining.
But unfortunately, after all this is over with, I'm afraid we might be more. I mean, I think it's going to sadly drop off to 3,500 to 4,000.
Oh my goodness, you think so?
I get Google alerts every day, and like today I was looking, there was 5 more stores closing down.
Wow.
I mean, I'm seeing 5 to 20 a day being,
right. That's really sad.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of great shops in New York that closed down already.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's the shoe repair capital of the country.
Right. But then it's also, when the offices are closed, and then, you
have wonderful, wonderful craftsmen in New York City. I don't want to see these guys leave, because it's.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, how do you train everybody? So there's not really like a shoe repair school anywhere, or is there?
Well, there's a couple small ones. There's one in Washington, one in Philadelphia, very small. But Marcel is starting something new with his shoemaking class. It's about a year.
Okay.
And we're trying to work with him that at the end of that class, when people want to look for a job, when shoe repair shops are going to need cobblers, these guys coming out of the class, they're going to know all the basics and more.
Yeah.
So this would be a great opportunity for them to go into a shoe repair shop to get a job, and a great opportunity to hire somebody that at least knows how to hand sew and trim and has all the basics down, that can learn very quickly.
Right. So in the past, though, you've had apprentices, and is that how you? Yeah,
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, because a lot of them learn and then they become your competitor.
Right.
So you got to watch that. A lot of them come in, spend a lot of time, and they take away your time, which if you're busy, it's difficult. That's why my dad always made me watch.
Right.
He didn't let me watch. Right. But you've got to find somebody that can invest the time into watch.
Yeah, yeah. And how about, do you have like a second generation, or in your case, fourth generation, somebody behind you?
I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, but they're all in college. One's graduated, one's graduating in the fall. My son is going to be a junior. He's really into computers and stuff. I didn't make my kids come in here like I had to, because I want them to enjoy school. They were all honor students, and I want them to stay in school and do all extra activities after school. And then, something I did some of it, but not like they've gotten to do. So,
is anybody interested or not really?
Not yet. I don't know what's going to happen. Old Sonny jokes around about coming to Florida and taking the shop one day, but we'll see. I doubt. Yeah, who knows? But who knows? I don't know. I have a couple nephews sometimes that talk about it or think about it. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
One of them worked in here for a while with me. He's a very quick learner and did a good job. But we'll see. I've got 10 years. I just signed a new lease. I've got 10 years.
Yeah.
If I'm in good health, let's see 10 years where I'm at, and if there's any in the family that's going to come into it.
Oh, that's exciting. But yeah, you still have a long way to go. So there's not really, but it's also nice to know that there's like a second, that somebody that you can pass down all your knowledge to.
I hope so. We've got a lot to pass down. Otherwise, it'll just be a shop that closed. Yeah. We used to have 8 shops. Used to have 8 shops in our town. We're down to 3.
Wow.
And probably down to 2, I imagine, within the next year.
Wow, that's so crazy. I have like super tiny questions, do you wear shoes that you fix as well? Do you always fix your own shoes?
Well, during work, I wear very comfortable sneakers I get from a company called iRunner. I've had 2 back surgeries.
Oh, wow.
And, but I do great. So I need real comfortable shoes to stand in 8 hours. Sit down probably about 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
But I'm doing very well with that. And so I wear that during the day. I have a nice assortment of dress shoes. I have some Allinet and some Carminas and a few different ones. I don't wear dress shoes a whole lot, on the weekend if we go somewhere. But yes, I redo all my shoes, resole them. Yeah. Got my favorites. Whenever I travel on the road, usually, when we don't have the pandemic, I work for 2 companies, Adhesives and JR Leather. I've rep 17 years. Yeah. So my favorite pair of Aldens I wear on my trips because they're loafers. I can slide them on and off. I love them. It's my favorite pair of shoes I've had for so many years. Yeah. And I'm afraid I've gotten to the point where I can't resole them anymore because we sold them 5 times, but they're just not in great shape in the area of trying to re-welt them again. I actually have, for the first time in my life, put on a sole protector for my shoes. Because now I'm figuring, okay, if I wear the sole protector out, I'll put another one on and maybe I can get another 5 or 6 years out of these shoes. Yeah. I told my wife I don't want to throw these things ever away. She can bury me with them. I'm not throwing them in the garbage can.
Yeah. Oh, good. Do you ever do any patina work and color changes to your
that's actually what my dad started me with when I was 12 or 13. Yeah. That's actually the number one thing I've ever done besides resoling shoes.
Do you do that with your own shoes?
I have done some. I bought some Navy Allen Edmonds not long ago, and I patinaed the toe much darker. I bought some gray ones and patinaed them, more of a dark, close to black, and then fading into gray. Yeah, I love doing that. Yeah, I use just real dye and then a lot of polish and a lot of sapphire, and just get them to where I like them. And as you bring that up, you've got Kirby Allison out there, you got Preston Stowe out there. Preston does some amazing patina work, and then you have some consumers that have learned from these guys that are doing just amazing work. They're just consumers, and they watch these videos, and they're doing work better than some of the stuff I've done or I've seen other professionals do. I mean, some of these guys are just really talented artists.
Yeah, so artist is the right word.
Never think you got to buy a cheap pair of Allen Edmonds off eBay that you think that are worn out. Watch some of these guys, and before you know it, you'll have done something and amaze yourself. And sometimes they can look bad in the beginning, but once you start buffing and polishing, it really look at
yeah. It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Do you think, what would you like to be doing in, like, let's say 5 to 10 years?
I don't know. I think, I really like what I do. So, like, I don't know if you Minas
Yeah,
in
I do.
Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know, he was in his late 70s,
Yeah.
and he'd go in every day. Customers loved him.
Yeah.
Such a sweet man.
Yeah.
Every time I'd go to see him, he would get this grappa from Greece.
Yes.
He put it in my coffee. Well, by the time I'd leave, I didn't even remember what subway I came in on. You know, he went in every day. He loved his customers, loved his work, and he is. Sometimes I wonder if that's what I'll end up being like. Is you know, the guy that's been around a while, come in, sit down by the cash register, talk to my customers.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of old cobblers like that out there, been in this a long time. And, you know, when they walk out of their shop and they've been in this their whole life, you don't just walk out and leave. It's like you've left a shell of yourself behind.
Right. Right.
And it's probably going to be the same with me. Yeah, I can talk about it, but will I do it? That's the thing. My grandfather died doing this. My dad worked all day, went in on Monday, was gone Wednesday.
Right.
So Monday and gone on Wednesday. So I mean, they all worked until they died.
Right.
And,
it's a lifelong passions, and you know, it's a skill set and everything. Sorry, there's a phone call. Do you need to take it?
Yeah, he won't quit calling. He keeps calling back. So I'm going to go back in here and disconnect that.
No worries. We have like a little bit left, but do you want to, if you have to check it?
I just unplugged him. I'm closed Monday, so, you know, anyway.
Do you ever wear Marcel's shoes that you made with him?
No way.
No way, you'll never wear it.
No way. Maybe someday.
Is it in your shoe size?
Yeah, they fit. They're perfect. I love them. I like a trophy piece for me. I mean, it's something I did on my first thing I ever made with my hands from, you know, pretty much from scratch. And maybe one day I'll wear them, but I just really like them. I don't know. You know, the thing about shoes, and I know you'll relate because I've been in your place there in Brooklyn. You know, when you create something with your hands, you know, whether it's designing an outfit or designing a shoe or whatever, you know, all of a sudden you have this thing in your hands. If you're, you know, I'm not an artist, but I guess in your own way you can be, you know, I guess in my, but when you create something you have passion for, you just want to sit somewhere and look at it. You know, you don't want to wear it. Now, if I made the same pair again, I would wear it. Right. But, you know, maybe someday I will. I don't know. For now, they're going to sit in that case, and so I can just look at it. Yeah. I love the memory of sitting there with him for 3 days and doing that. And, you know, he's an amazing craftsman. Yeah, that's how I actually met you, through the Shoemakers forum, actually. I think it's great that the Shoemakers, you know, there's not a beef between, but there's a Shoemakers that they also call themselves cordwainers, and then cobblers is different, but it is a different trade, but at the same time, it's such intertwined industry, and I think it's great to know how to repair. I think it's come together a little more. Yeah. One time when I went to Williamsburg, Virginia, where they have this old area, Colonial Williamsburg, there was a shoemaker in there making shoes. I asked him what happens when people wear them out. I asked him if he, you know, was also a cobbler, and he was very offended. And he said, "Don't you go to the cobbler down the street. I'm not a cobbler. I'm a shoemaker." Right. And he said it really sassy. Yeah. And I thought to myself, well, gosh, you know, I mean, he didn't say that so nice. Yeah. But we learned from each other. Absolutely. You know, a lot of shoemakers look and see techniques shoe cobblers do. Yep. And shoe cobblers can learn. I learned a lot from Marcel how to make my work better. I mean, shoe cobbler could spend a little time with a shoemaker. Yeah. They can learn some really cool techniques to make their finish work much better. And some shoemakers like to watch how shoe cobblers do things because they can, trade some secrets or
absolutely.
skills. So I think, instead of it being one insulting the other anymore, I think it's been more of a coming together thing, to where a lot of shoemakers and shoe cobblers have kind of, a lot of them have made some pretty good bonds and learn a lot from each other.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, like, when I was starting as well, I sat at the shoe repair shop, and including Mina's, I went a couple times, but in one for, oh my goodness, it was on Bleecker Street, and I used to go on Saturdays to watch, just watch. You can't touch anything because I think insurance reasons, but it was really interesting and fascinating to see how everybody did their work. And different shops have different ways. Yeah.
It's mesmerizing. It's just like,
absolutely.
For me, it's like, I mean, I'm all in it.
You know what I also forgot to ask? When did you put your barcode in the system to like modernize? When did you do that?
Oh, for my computer and the customers?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Probably 10, 12 years ago or more.
That's so great. Was it difficult? Like, is the industry kind of standard at this point, or is it still up to the shop?
Most shops still handwrite tickets, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that have stayed up to, there's a lot of cobblers out there that stay on top of the game, and they, they're always making their shops better and their system better.
Right. Does it help you with like getting more wider reach, like, of clients? Like, do they
people talk about it?
Do they mail in their shoes? And
yeah, we get a fair amount of mail-ins. I don't get as many as guys out there get, but I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm lucky to get on here without having a problem.
I'm just curious. So there's shoe repair guys that actually do.
They do a good job. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 here that are fun. Yeah, I'll have Kirby Allison will come down, or I'll go over there every once in a while, and he'll have his video crew. So that makes it easy for me.
Yeah. No, that's cool though. That you have a community like that.
Yeah. I hate to listen to myself anyway, and I'm not one to read comments. I don't like to read comments, and
it could consume you, maybe, right?
Well, you get some stupid comments. People make some of the silliest comments sometimes that make absolutely no sense.
Right. And you're also so busy. You're busy.
I don't have time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. I work for, like I say, 2 companies in Germany, running my store. Then being the president of the SSIA, I'm always trying to think of things that we can do to promote the industry. And, if things slow down one day, maybe I'll make an attempt to do something on YouTube. But as far as now goes,
I think the Instagram's photos, your work speaks for itself.
That's the only thing I do. And there's some customers out there that promote me a lot, so that helps.
Yeah.
Someone told me, there's this real smart girl I work with here in Lakeland. She does a lot of my PR work. And she's just golden with her ideas. And she was talking about hiring somebody for an intern from the college to just take over Instagram for a bit, and eventually just pay somebody each week to do it that comes in and takes all the pictures and does everything, and I don't have to do anything. And they could put a whole lot more up there than I do. So that may be worth the investment. I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Once things pick up a little bit more.
Yeah. Right now it's still a little slower. And do you feel like you'll do things differently eventually with this COVID, or do you feel like it's pretty much?
It's gonna make things different for everybody. Right. Some positive things. We don't know how COVID affects everybody different. Some people don't know they have it. Some people end up in the hospital. So I mean, it's scary for everybody to wonder about it. But I will say this: usually by now I've had 3 colds in a year.
And you're healthy.
I haven't had 1 cold all year.
Good.
Because I've been so washing my hands.
Yes.
So if anything we've learned out of this social distancing and